1 into the 2, 2 into the 3, 3 into the 4. Breathe. Huh? Hey, man. Fab is dope. He don't get enough credit for his lyricism to me. Fab is real dope, man.
He's dope. Made dope songs. Had good lyrics. I think it's more radio type music that he made, but I love his music. I love Fab.
Yeah, I'm a fan of him. Even Freddie versus Jason with him and Jada.
Yeah.
Just hearing them go off, that was, so, shout out to the guy, Fab, the F-A-B, And shout out to Quan with the music in the background. I'm always giving you shouts out, bro, because the playlist that you have prepared every single week is dope.
You can only play good music, man.
I wish you could control the traffic downtown because it's a nightmare getting around here now.
It's more about the construction than the traffic.
That's what I mean.
The construction's causing that traffic, and it's just different every day. That's what I hate. Yeah. If I knew it was going to be a certain way every day, cool, but yeah, it's different every day.
There's not a major street in the city that's not under construction right now. That's crazy. So, be prepared anywhere you drive. So
just leave earlier.
Yeah.
That's what I tell everyone. Like, just leave a little earlier.
Yeah. So, look, appreciate y'all. It is a special edition of GridCenter today because we just had the playoffs and championships go up this weekend. The weather was hot, but the play on the field was even hotter. We had some classic matchups. I don't know if we had upsets, but the games really turned up. We had a blowout that nobody expect. Well, let me take that back. I didn't expect. We had some games go down to the last play in championship fashion. We had team captains who didn't show up either. We'll talk about that. But again, we crowned new champions this weekend. And if you ain't at the grid, what the hell are you doing? Because we be turning up out there with the Grid Cup, the rings. Everybody been sporting all their championship rings. Unfortunately, your boy didn't win one this season. I did get a knee brace though because, I'm getting older and things are falling apart. So I don't know if that's a consolation prize. But look, man, I greatly appreciate y'all, the players who stepped up. Saw some old heads come back out. You dusted off we had some players come out of semi-retirement. You remember the old Michael Jackson Thriller video when you had all those zombies coming up out of the dirt and out of those coffins and stuff? We had players coming up out of their crypt to play. And it was good to see them on the sidelines as well, too. We saw some players returning back from injuries and was able to make it out there on the field and get through and shake off some of the rust. Players like Chris McWilliams, who had a devastating foot injury earlier this year, and to see his recovery time get back the way, he was just millimeters short of a compound fracture, similar to what Dak Prescott had, Trey Lance had. And to see a player recover and be back on the field in under 6 months was ridiculous. Had another player had his appendix removed 2 weeks ago and out there on the football field slanging and banging. So it's the level of commitment that you see, and there's a reason why these players are at the top of the game. Then you also saw a lack of commitment, players who didn't put the work in and they showed up. Players who didn't know their playbook. Players who didn't even show up for their own squad. And it showed up as well, too. That's crazy because we had a team that was the number 1 ranked team, the top seed, and their captain and quarterback failed to show up because he had commitments with another team and left them hanging. They showed up. You ever seen that gif with it got John Travolta out there in the middle of nowhere? Or you saw the Will Smith one when everybody moved out on the Fresh Prince?
Yeah.
That's how his team looked. I should have put that on there so we could post it. But the team was like, where our captain at? Where the QB at? And I mean, they were the number 1 seeded team and lost 41-7. And you know, the rest of it is history. But let's give a shout out to everybody who's up in the group. We got the Death Row Morning Squad up in here. They in here bright and early, ready to get theirs in. Got my guy CJ Smith. Hey, listen, man, speedy recovery for you. Tap in with me. I got a little case of vibranium at the crib. That's why your boy's still out there playing at a high level, even at this age. So I got some vibranium. Come through the crib, and I'll hit you with a dose of that. CJ had a pretty nasty foot injury, so speedy recovery to you, my guy. Got Mingo up in here too. If y'all, solar panels, anything to deal with solar, your guy Mingo is the guy. He got crowned champion again. Mingo, how many championships is this for you now over your career? It's got to be a lot because you started playing when you was 15. So let me know how many championships you got so far up in this piece. It's cool to see a lot of new guys up in here that's in the group because we crowned some new champions. So let's talk about that. Let's start with our D2 Division II champions, our comp champions on Saturday night 5-man. We had a great game with Public Enemies. And I don't mean Chuck D and Flavor Flav. I don't mean that, it wasn't no Terminator X or nothing like that. These were different Public Enemies. But they had the boy Scooter, fresh off of an appendix surgery, coming out there. Keep it going, keep it going.
I don't want to get hit with copyright.
So we had Public Enemy going undefeated in the playoffs. Scooter in there. We had Bobby, David Ward, the Ward brothers pulling out the championship. And it was impressive with them because they worked so hard this offseason to get prepared for now. And to come out and get this dub and get the trophy. And what's nice about them too is my D2 teams, they don't get rings like the D1, like the Division I Elite. But they said, hey, look, Sherm, we want rings, so we're going to place an order for rings. And they already did that. So shout out to them. And as soon as they arrive, I'll be making special delivery because y'all deserved it, especially having players coming off the injury reserve to come out and ball out for y'all. So good way to play. And then in our Division I Elite, we had the number 1 seeded Renegades who've been in the top 10 rankings, the only 5-man team in the top 10 rankings, and their captain failed to show up. Not only did he fail to show up, he was the league MVP and didn't show up. And it was essentially belt to ass because in their first round matchup, they lost 30-7 to Hate the Heem and then lost 41-7 to What's Next. And they were quickly eliminated. But that elite 5-man championship game, as it always does, just went up. You had What Next / Second to None / Baller Boys versus Hate the Heem / Heemocracy / Heemascracy.
I like how the beat laughed at the same time.
It was perfect, right?
Perfect.
It's called synergy. But the truth of the matter is these two teams have been in the 5-man championship game 4 straight years. And every season it gets better and better and better. Last year, Heem beat What Next on the last play of the game in overtime by 2 points. This season, Heemocracy / Hate the Heem, and I have to say it right because y'all are the elite 5-man champions, defending 5-man champions, defeated What Next. And it was the game was really classic too because it went down to QB 24, yours truly, marching downfield with the game on the line and got inside the 5-yard line and threw a game-ending interception to my guy Said. for all his worth, said was the most outstanding player with game-saving flag pulls, interceptions. Just he was all over the field. And the old guys, what he said he wanted to be called, was still out there balling and showing the youngsters what he do. So salute to Hate the Heem, your repeat champions in 5-man. Look, they are a great team. They're a great organization. They represent the grid very well. They will talk their trash, but they back it up on the field. I got my guy CJ in here now, Cody Johnson. You know, they just go out and ball out. And they represent the grid very well. They're out there from the morning to the night. They're going to have their little drink. They're going to talk their trash. But real talk is all love. And they are a brotherhood on the field. They're definitely a brotherhood off the field. And I just want to give them their props and give them their flowers right now in this moment because they most definitely deserve it. So shout out to Hate the Heem for winning the Elite 5-man championship. I got my guy Mingo. He said he got 15 ships. It seemed like it's more than that, my guy. But you did take some time off, and you're still young. You're only like 30. You just been playing since you was a teenager. So you got plenty more time to add to that and continue to stake your case for Hall of Fame. So let's go. I got Smooth up in here too. He's probably working on somebody's carburetor right now and tuning in. If you need your car fixed, man, look, shameless plug, but if you need anything to deal with your car, you know, foreign, domestic, my guy, Smooth is the guy to fix your car. We're talking about fixing everything from brakes to paint jobs and everything in between. So reach out to the homie Smooth Lionel Richie is what some of us call him as well too. So let's turn to our Sunday league play. Because again, it went up again Sunday mornings. We had a bunch of new teams in our Division II comp. We had teams like Death Row, you know, some old school faces like Mike Yoder in there. But a brand new team in Death Row, a brand new semi-pro team called the Uncrowned Kings. And we had Mingo's team, Little Giants, a bunch of solar power guys, sales reps, put a team in. And Death Row with the veteran Mike Yoder, former Ohio State quarterback, 55 years old, gray hair, beard, everything. And Death Row came out with the victory. We even saw Disco come out to play with Little Giants, and it wasn't enough to stop the onslaught that Mike Yoder and Demetrius and Antonio and others, what they did out there on the field. So our D2 comp champions go out to Death Row and company. First season too. And you know what? I had to beg that squad to put a team in. You know, so Quan, every week I would drive by this park and me and my little bro, Silent Assassin, will go work out, and we'll take Breon and we'll go work out, and I'll see these guys out there playing at the park, playing pickup ball. And I'm like, hey, why don't y'all put a team in the league? You out here every Sunday. It's like 30 of y'all. You know, come out to put it out there on the field and earn something. And they were hesitant. They were like, nah, we cool with just doing this. And I was like, well, how often are you just going to keep playing against one another? Come out and get some bragging rights. And it took a little bit. And they was like, well, you know what? We're missing a bona fide quarterback. You know one? And I was like, sure. Let me call my guy, Mike Yoder. And they put it all together. And here you have it. Comp champions in their very first season. And they were like, Sherm, can we start the next season next week? We hot. We ready to go. I like that type of enthusiasm, and they put it out there, man. And so it is really good to see a new team come out and flourish. But even some of these other teams, we had a semi-pro tackle team that travels the country. Well, flag football is a different animal. So when I see some of these tackle teams saying y'all can't compete, I'm like, look, man, Don't underestimate what we do, because all of us played tackle before. So, you know, and this team really competed, but Death Row had too much for them. So shout out to Yoder, Demetrius, and the Death Row morning squad. But in the morning, Elite was probably the best game of the entire weekend. We had 2 undefeated teams. Hey, Quan, remember when a couple years back you had undefeated Alabama versus undefeated Clemson? Classic game that went down to the wire. You know, even this past season, you had undefeated Washington versus undefeated Michigan. So this season, you had
who won that game? Oh, Michigan. That's my squad.
You know, they blackballed my undefeated Florida State Seminoles out of the playoffs. So I don't really want to talk about that too much.
Well, you didn't have a quarterback.
We didn't, but
it was messed up. I wanted Florida State to be in.
We still had a great defense. So
yeah.
But look, we had MVP Terminator T. We had Smooth and Hate the Heem. The 1 and 2 ranked teams in all the city. Undefeated in the championship game. A lot of these players play together in other leagues. So it was a classic matchup. And it was a defensive matchup too. The defense was really, I mean, you had the Matt brothers over on Sin City. You had Jimmy and Micah and Fees over on and MJ over on Heem. And the game went down to the wire. And the final score was 12-6. Heem. And at the end, they hoisted up their second trophy over the weekend. But the game itself, I hate the way that it ended, but it had to end the way it ended. Heem scores, it's a minute left in the game. Sin City, Terminator T gets the ball, and they got too many men on the field. Not one play, not 2 plays, not 3 plays, but 4 plays, too many players on the field. And unfortunately, the referees didn't catch it. But more unfortunately, Sin City wasn't able to take advantage of the extra players on the field. And
they're trying to cheat?
No, Are you
sure?
They weren't trying to cheat.
Right.
No,
Just making sure.
They were being competitive, but sometimes with the competitiveness, good athletes don't want to come off the field. And that's what was happening. And 2 of the athletes, neither one of them wanted to come off the field. The referees didn't catch it. The Heem defense kept pointing out they got too many men on the field. And finally, the ref saw it. Sin City goes to run a play. The referees blow the whistle. At that point, it was less than 10 seconds left. It's an offensive penalty, 10-second runoff, game over with. And they had the ball inside the 20. Unfortunately, the game ended that way. Sometimes these athletes have to swallow their pride and say, hey, look, let me step off the field, because you can't both be on the field at the same time. So, you know, but with that being said, you got that video. Were you able to pull that video up?
Yep.
So even with that being said, Heem, champions in the morning, and I want to give them the props, much deserved, to come out and win Saturday night, to win Sunday morning, to have 2 rings going, 2 trophies going. Look, they saying, look, we the best team in the city. Come. If you don't feel we the best, come prove it. And I agree. They went undefeated and won it all. What else could I say? But I want to give a shout out to Terminator T, morning MVP. He had a message for all you youngsters when he got his MVP award speech. Go ahead and cue that up, Quan.
MVP champ, I appreciate y'all for real from the bottom of my heart. I do want to say for all the youngsters, bro, keep grinding. This is for y'all. I don't care if everybody talking about that tackle shit. They got to bring it to flag and show flag. And I've been seeing a lot of youngers, and I respect y'all. But y'all still got to come see me.
Terminator T. Hey, come here. Let me get a close-up of that. Spin that joint. Look at that.
Yes, sir. You feel me?
Look at
That's
the
that
spinner
football
on that.
deal chain. You feel me? You feel me? Yes, sir.
Terminator T.
Definitely. I appreciate
League
y'all.
MVP.
Appreciate y'all. Goal shit. SCG, we coming tomorrow, baby. On me. Appreciate you, sir.
That's my guy, T. Jones, man. League MVP. You see the blingy bling that they get for winning MVP?
Bro. It's pretty dope.
All for just coming out and playing a game that we all love to play, that we gonna play in our own free time anyway. So, they get the ice crusted out spinner necklace just for being MVP and being the best of the best. But I love what he said. He was like, everybody talk about flag or tackle, but this format right now is the biggest in the country. They're making flag football an Olympic sport in 4 years. So if you want to, if you're not making it to college and if you're not making it to the pros, then bring your talents over here. In fact, one of Vegas' finest who played for the Raiders, played for the Steelers, plays for the Vipers, Martavius Bryant plays flag in the flag football league. So these players come out and get their talent
But he
sharpened.
got picked up by Dallas last year at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But where he gets his training at or where he keeps his game sharp is right here on the flag football field. So, I'm telling everybody, come out here and work on your game because it's a passing league more than anything. So you still got to work on your route running, your DB skills. The linemen still have to work on a blocking. So it's a game within the game. So come out and show all the talent. And then come out and get yourself a trophy, get a ring, and get a necklace for showing off that great talent that you have. So, I want to definitely say that. But tune back into the group chat and see who up in here. Got Officer Johnson in here. Yeah, he said, look, they had 9 players on the field. It's looking at the group chat, and you just see the competitiveness with everybody and how much fun they have. I got Henry Cavill's real mustache as a screen name. Well, y'all crazy, man. But I appreciate y'all. I really do, man. Really, really do. Let's get into our night playoffs. And at night in the D2, we had a championship game with the Night Death Row Squad versus Monstars. Earlier in the season, Death Row beat Monstars head to head. Playoffs come, and Monstars does what Monstars do. Tim Huff and his boys went out there and first play of the game scored. They get the ball back and they scored on the third play after that. And Death Row Night Squad with Night MVP Perkins went out and put up a good fight, but it wasn't enough to withstand the onslaught of Monstars. And Monstars has several elite championships. They got 5-man elite championships. They have the pedigree. They're used to being on that stage. Just like the Death Row Morning Squad, the Death Row Night Squad is a brand new team for the most part. And there's levels that you have to equate. And the Grid Night division is really difficult. Every team in there has been an elite champion. So it's very difficult and there's levels. And so one thing, if I had to give any advice to the Death Row Night Squad, you can't just rely on your athleticism. As we get to the Division I champions, you'll see the level of IQ that team has. Because when you look at them, you're like, man, they don't have no athletes at all. But the IQ that they have, the work that they put in, and all these teams like Monstars, like Sin City, like Heem, these teams have been around for a while. They know the personnel of every opponent. They can tell you, they can do a full breakdown on every opponent that they face, from the quarterback to the line to each receiver. They can tell you whether they're right-handed, left-handed. They can tell you how they run out of their breaks. They can tell you what their 40 is. So if you're not studying your opponent like that, you don't know how to game plan and scheme against them. So if I were to give any advice to the Death Row Night Squad, is take more pride in the game itself because there's a lot of bragging rights, as you can see. And like Mingo said, chemistry defeats talent any day. When you look at some of these teams, you may look and say, man, I can beat that person one-on-one, but this isn't a one-on-one game. It's a scheme game. And there's certain coverages that you have to know and learn to be able to defeat your opponent. And Monstars, with their quarterback Tim, they know how to do that, and they can break that down with the best of them. Also, shout out to my guy Terrion, who had a really bad knee injury a couple of seasons ago and came back and scored 2 touchdowns. There was just athletes all over the field. And I want to give a shout out to my guy Perk, who was Night League MVP, led in receiving yards, led in interceptions. He had a pick 6 in the championship game. He had a touchdown in the championship game. His talent was on display as well. So I want to make sure that he gets his flowers as well. But shout out to Donnie, Ginger, ST, Terrion, Brandon Simpson, Tim Huff, and all those boys, Curtis Jones, and Monstars for winning the Division II Comp Championship this past Sunday. Salute to y'all. See y'all out there next season again. And last but not least, got to go to the Division II Elite Night Champions. The Grid Night League is the best division in the entire West Coast. And this team, Quan, can you I sent you a screenshot of a Facebook message. You see that there? Pull that up for me, because I got to live with this. I got to eat it. So my guy Dex for serial killers, because everybody know all season I've been saying All the Smoke is my pick to win the Elite. Every week, All the Smoke got all the talent. They got all the components. They got the athletes, the IQ, the line, the spread, the speed to win it all. And Dex comes out and says this. Remember when you pick All the Smoke to win it all? Yeah, you must have forgotten the Serial Killers was playing this season. Put a 30-6 whooping on them boys. And I don't even know if it was that close. Look, Serial Killers have won countless amounts of championships. I think they've only lost 2 championship games in the last 5 years. Oh yeah, one of those L's came to me too. Let me just put that out there, yeah. But with that being said, this team led by Jeremy and Bear and Lugo and Little Bear and Mendez, Christian Brown, and then they turn around and they add someone like X and Zante and Keese. They got Hollywood Stone in the playoffs. Their total points scored was 54-6. We're talking about elite competition. They went out and they made a team quit at halftime because they was up 24-0 at halftime, and their opponent like, man, look, man, they no mas. Basically like, man, fuck this shit. I'm good. I'm good. Serial Killers is the type of team when they get off the bus, you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna run through them. And before you know it, you down 3 touchdowns on 3 straight possessions. And before you know it, against All the Smoke, it was 20-0 in like the first 5 minutes of the game. And so, yes, players mess up because I did pick All the Smoke to win it all. And I must have forgot who Serial Killers really were, because they've shown time in, time again that they are one of the elite teams in the country. The Serial Killers / Goonies / Instigators are ranked in the top 20 nationwide. And somehow I lost sight of that. So here's my apology, Dex. Y'all got it. I will tell you this one thing though. Your Packers ain't beating my Niners no time soon. So I'm going to get my get back when my Niners beat that ass this season. So let me just throw that out there. I got to get a lick in somehow. So my Niners will be beating your Packers. But
when do they play?
They play sometime. I don't even know if it matters because we just going to beat them again.
Yeah. Basically, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's like Groundhog Day.
Hopefully
right?
we get them in the playoffs because that's always a guaranteed win.
It's a guaranteed win, no matter where we play.
Yeah.
No matter who the quarterback is. It can be Kaepernick. It can be Jimmy G. It can be Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
We still going to win. We even beat them with Trey Lance. So, yeah, we going to beat the Packers. So now I'm going to get my get backs. So I guarantee. Let me not put no guarantees because I might be.
I guarantee. Hashtag Quastradamus. My 14-3 Niners will beat the Packers.
Oh man, I tell y'all what though, man, it was an amazing weekend of football on the field. You saw some great individual talents. I can't go this show without giving a shout out to my little nephew Danye. Because if you watched him in 5-man and 8-man, even though he didn't win anything, he was clearly one of the best athletes on the field. Stone Stevenson, Zonte, as I mentioned, Smooth, Seti, Jeremy always balls out. Cam, even with his pool quad, quarterback for All the Smoke. Terminator T, all these individual players, Perk, they all balled out. And sometimes you got to realize that it takes a team effort to hold the trophy at the end. But the next season isn't too far away. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it out to y'all this summer. And put it in the group chat, put it in the captain's chat, put it on our pages. What do y'all want to see this summer? Y'all know it's 1,000 degrees in Vegas. I was thinking about having night 5-man again. Do y'all want to do an 8-man format? Do you want to start off and maybe do a 6-man? We got 7-man A7 style flag coming in September. We have our girls league starting June 22nd and 23rd. So we have a lot of new and fresh things coming up. But let me know what format y'all want to see. I do know this. If it's 5-man, we are playing contact. Because I went out of my way to change our format to non-contact to try to recruit Henderson teams because they said, well, we're used to non-contact. And yet, we put non-contact and they didn't show up. So, we gonna do contact regardless because that's where the big boys play. That's where you earn your money. Not none of this, I don't want to touch nobody, non-contact. Nah, we play contact. We putting hands on. So, it will be contact regardless of the format. I already see people in here now saying, let's do contact. So, Vince, 5-man ain't over with. Y'all have won the last 2 championship games. Yes, granted. It's been by like 6 points. So let's not get ahead of ourselves right now. Because there's a team that's still breathing down your neck. There's still a team that has beaten y'all in the championship game within the last year. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it will be contact format. So maybe that's what we'll do. Another thing I want to do too, and y'all let me know in the group chat, Father's Day, which is June 16th. I'm thinking about doing our skills competition again. Fastest man, fastest big man, fastest man over 40, strongest arm accuracy contest, and one-on-ones. I'm thinking about doing that Father's Day to celebrate and salute all the great men that we have in our league, all of the fathers that we have in our league as well too. So, let me know what y'all think about doing that as well. So, as we get out of here, we're going to go through all of the great events that took place this past weekend, all of the photos that y'all showed me, all of the celebrations. Ooh, wait, look at the blingy bling. Sheesh. Death Row right there, Morning Squad. Look at that, man. Mike Yoder with the Heisman pose. Look, we just going to let some of these pictures run out. Y'all enjoy them. I appreciate y'all. I'll let you know what format we do coming up. Take a couple weeks off, rest and recoup, rehab and get back out there on the field. And I'll let you know what format we go from there. I'll put that in the captain's chat here this week. And in the meanwhile, look, I appreciate y'all. If you ain't playing in the grid and if you ain't getting those rings and necklaces and trophies, what you doing? In the meanwhile, I'll see y'all back on the grid. Your boy Sherm out.